Doom, 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 doom. Do, 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 ba, da, da. Ba, da, da, bum, bum. Bum, ba, da, ba, da, ba, bum, bum. Hey everybody, it's me. It's me, your friend, Wincy Blue. Just doing a thing. La da 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 da. Ba da ba 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 bum. Hey, how's it going? Let me turn down the reverb and the music. Because it's great but kinda loud. Ba-ba-dum bum 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 bum. Alright, there's a little bit of background there. At least it shows on my sound monitors that there's music going on in the background. So I am returning to an old friend tonight. My name is Wincy Blue. I am a musician and artist out of Western Washington, which is like Seattle-ish. I don't feel like getting into my regular spiel. I just have not. I'm having a week. Actually, I'm not going to say month, because when you say month, people think, oh, this month. But this month is only a couple of weeks. No, it's been a full 30 days. So allow me to go shut my door, because I feel like I need some privacy. And unfortunately, the only way I can do privacy is by not doing a Freddy cam, because my Freddy cam relies on a clip on the door that keeps it from shutting. And I use something else, like clip it somewhere else, or use a doorknob, or maybe even clip it to something not terribly close. But if she sees it, she'll be afraid of it. And the clip is the only way I can actually get her on the dog cam. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, and I got to put my name up here. Where's my name? I just noticed I have chat up, but I don't have my name. And usually Fred is over in the spot where I was finding it kind of naked. And for some reason, I don't have. Anyway, I'm going to show you what it is that I'm working on at the moment. Oh, there's Freddie. All right. Hang on, I'm gonna copy little Fred, and I'm gonna stick her in the main screen. Okay, so chill with me for a second while I figure this out. There she is. She's a cute little dog, and she's my friend. Okay. So I'm going to be working on this, and, well, let me go shut the door, and then I can talk to you a little bit more about why I'm working on this tonight, instead of pulling out my Procreate tablet and maybe even doing something a little different. So give me a moment while I close the door. It looks like my husband has wrapped Freddie in her blanket, and her little nose is poking out. She hasn't done a dang thing about it. So for my first trick, I'm going to turn up my reverb just so I can speak a little softer. All right. I've had a number of people tell me that they often fall asleep to my art streams, which is fine. I don't mind that at all. Because here I am, and here's the painting, and we're just going to do this tonight. And for reference, now I don't remember how far back my videos go, but in the first ones that I did pre-Inktober, so probably spring? Not sure. But I was working on this as a painting. It's one of my favorite pictures. I took it just to be silly with my cell phone. So there it is. All right. Whew. Let's get some color together. Now, the last we played this game, I had a palette, a Stay Wet palette, that had this color. This is the color that I matched to this. And, well, the palette dried out because it's been so long since I've used it. So I guess I'm going to be rediscovering these colors. So let me move some camera stuff around. All right, let's get this out of the way a little bit. I'm going to try and keep it in the camera so that you can see what I'm trying to match. And I am going to mix on this. Looks like I'm going to have to move some stuff out of my cart. Now let's hope that I remember enough of this particular composition that I can recreate this color. From what I can see, I've got a little bit of yellow, a little bit of black, and I hesitate to say that there's any white in this. Usually white will dull. It'll dull colors. You never want to lighten up with white. And then there's this blue, and I know I have this blue. So let's find Mars Black, whichever blue this is, and my yellow. See, I have two different blues. One is kind of purpley, and one is not. And I think it's this one. And before I get too involved in this, you cannot work with acrylics without some sort of clothing protection. So I'm going to put on my stolen university dining services apron that is easily 35 years old, if not older. And I don't think this thing has ever been washed, except when I brought it home, because it had food on it. Anyway, you're not supposed to take these with you. But at university, I worked in the dining hall. And this is what we wore. Back when I was a blonde. All right. That, and for extras, I'm going to put my little dish towels. Actually, these are bar towels that I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting to wash, and so all of the acrylic on it it's all crusty, and because it's been so long, the paint has cured. I'll show it to you in a second now that I've got this on. So as you can see, this is very crunchy. Crunchy, crunchy. And yeah, there's really no way to get some of this paint out at all. This one was so crunchy, I cut the paint out of it. So anyway, I'm going to be using a bunch of these to keep my, oh look, how handy is that? Be a little mitten. So as I was getting some things done to prep for this, there is a specific way that they want you to prepare this Stay Wet palette. And I have a new sponge underneath. And so I sent my husband to the kitchen to get this all figured out. And he brought it back to me, and it was kind of soggy. I said, "Did you follow the instructions?" "The instructions?" "Yes, they are on the sleeve of the paper." "Why can't you just use it like this? This is what I've done forever." "Yes. You are not me." And then he said to me, "It's just a stream, Win." Oh, rude. All right, let's make sure that this is the one. This looks a lot like this. See, it looks a lot like, but it's not the same blue I was using. So I'm going to put some phthalo blue down to see if this is, because see, I'm trying to match what this blue is. Which blue is this? Oh. And how many blues do I have? Primary cyan? Oh, goodness. So we have cerulean blue, phthalo blue, and then whatever this is. The joy of having not worked on a painting for almost a year. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to finish this painting tonight. There's just too much in it. So let's see what I can do. So this is the cyan. Now when I look at this, it seems kind of a dark blue, like this should be it. All right, I have one more option for a blue. One more option. And I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna go over here, right behind me about 3 feet. And I'm gonna open up my college toolbox because I did use a lot of colors in that. But that would have been a disaster right there. Yes, let's not do that. Primary blue. There's purple. Looks like primary blue is our next try. Thank you, Beach Doggy. I really want to finish this because I feel like I should at least have one complete painting. And if I can finish one complete painting this year, I can start a second one. Because right now, I've been doing a lot of comics, and the only large scale, I mean, I could have some of the comics that I've done printed. But I don't know. I've had someone tell me that comics are still art. And that if I took one of my comics and I had it printed to something that's like 11 by 14, maybe got it mounted on something, that it could go in a show. All right, so this didn't change much. This looks a lot like this. So primary blue and cyan, they're pretty much the same. But this dark one is the closest. So I'm going to start with the dark one and see how far we go. I'm out of tissues. If I can't drop it, I'm going to throw it. there we go. So let's clear off this a little bit. And you know what? If I need to, I'm going to try that. But for now, no. All right, let's get this show on the road. Bit of Mars. Come on. Oh, come on. Ew. Doesn't take a lot of black to make a difference in a color. All right, so this is not the same yellow. All right, that's not the same yellow. I wish I could put this back in the tube. Oh, I think I can. Brilliance. Now this one's a heavy body, and you can get this at your local craft store, right on the aisle that has all like 700 colors and varieties. But it is a heavy body, which means there is a lot more pigment. A lot more pigment in the paint. You need coverage on top of a dark color. You need a certain effect. Heavy body is the way to go. Back to the toolbox. Here we go. Primary yellow. Yellow medium. This was a sample I got from somewhere. I don't remember where. I'm not even going to try this one. This is what came with the canvases. Cadmium yellow, and that's what this is. But it might be brighter. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to open it. That's not cadmium yellow. That is primary yellow. I know I used one of these. All right, we got an ad break coming up here. I suggest you do the thing that I don't do, which is hydrate. And we'll be back. I'm just going to keep on keeping on right here. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, here's the next one. That looks the same too. Medium yellow. And looks like my cadmium yellow, oh, it's not regular cadmium yellow, it is deep. Maybe any of these yellows would work, except for this one. Okay. Don't use this one if you're looking for something bright and sunshiny. All right. All right, this one has the consistency of oil, like olive oil, you know? It's kind of thin. Just an art stream. Come on. I'm gonna be a little salty about that for a while. Yes. Just an Alright, so here we are. I'm gonna get my yellows all figured out. Let's use this one. I'm familiar with this one. All right, welcome back. Welcome back from ad break. I'm looking at my phone because we have an alarm that comes up. You know, one of the things I've noticed on Twitch is that because I have a bunch of notifications on, I get at the top of every hour, not the half hour, at the top of every hour, at least half a dozen people send their notifications. I'm really glad to get those, but they just all come at once. All right, here we go. Because this is a purple, we're going to use the yellow to lighten it up a little bit. Just a little. And if it doesn't turn out the way I want it to, then foo-foo magoo. Maybe I do add a little bit of white. Yep, looks like I'm going to have to add some white. Gotta find the titanium white. Let us dull and lighten this up all at the same time. And there is a chance that this won't turn out the way I want it to at all. And if that's the case, then I guess we'll scrape the palette and start over. Oh, now there we go. I thought that blue looked a little dull. Can't get in much closer on that. But see, that's really close. It's just light. It's just dark, excuse me. Let's throw some more white in there. Now, white will almost always dull your color. And if that's what you want, yay, that's wonderful. But if it's not, this was purpley, and the other end of the color wheel, right opposite of the color wheel, the opposite of purple is yellow, and that's why I added yellow to bring more of the blue out, while lightening it up a little bit also. So turned out to be a good decision. Now the black has certain green, ashy qualities to it, which is what makes this not quite so vivid. So the combination of gray has taken this to almost exactly where we want it. Nice. I just want this to be glooby all in one place. So see how I've captured a bunch of this? Oh. Looks like I've also captured a bit of the blue. That kind of sucks. Yeah, it'll be fine. Alright. I'm going to split this in two and add a little bit of white to the second part. Now it's okay to fall asleep, okay? Totally okay. I know I sometimes will speak in a very soft voice, and that's by design, honestly. Here's the white. Even though I don't have a Freddy cam on, she is outside my door dreaming. She does this little dream thing where she just yips. Yip, yip, yip. See, that's too light. But that's why we separated the good color from this lightened color. And it will come in handy when we're doing highlights. Okay. Now I seem to be missing something very, very important. Water. So I'm going to text my husband and make sure that he knows I need a jar of water. All right. Now what I'm doing here is I'm putting these colors, or at least part of these colors, in here so I know what I'm using. And those will stay moist. I know everybody loves that word. These will stay moist until the next time I need them. Most people, when they're using a Stay Wet palette, they will just work straight from the palette, but I don't feel like doing that. All right, water has been requested. Now, while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to rearrange my workspace. I hope he brings me the right jar because I have jars that I keep food in. I don't want him to bring me that. Because if he does, I'm going to have to buy a lot more salsa. I'll explain later. Yes. I can't gossip if my door is open. How the heck am I going to talk trash if the door is wide open? That's not gonna work. I'm not gonna sit here and talk trash. All right. I don't know if I'm going to talk at all. All right. Where is this? Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's see if I can find the right brushes. I have some very specific brushes that I like to use on this, and I don't know if I still have them. Looking for the tiny ones. Teeny tiny ones, teeny is a lot of brushes, but I like having a variety on hand. Alright, so tonight we have a couple of angled brushes. I do have a nicer angled brush. This is a filbert. Filberts are always rounded on the end. So I've got a couple of those. A couple of these, the angled ones. Some for details, which I probably won't need tonight. And one square. And now we're going to test this blue. That's an almost perfect match. Trust me on this. Trust me the process. Trust it. Because I'm either going to ruin it or I'm going to make it so awesome. Yeah, I think I might have mismatched that. I think it might need a little more black. I don't want to glob the paint on. I want to keep it to a point where I can remove it if it doesn't sit well with me. Too watery. That's quite a bit of detail. I was not expecting. Plus my paint is kind of drying out. A contemporary of mine, he's a lot more successful than me. Maybe you've heard of him, Justin Hillgrove. He suggested that I use this to make things to water down my paints with so that they don't dry out so quick. I haven't worked on this in a long time, so it's a little frustrating to not have a 100% match. Oh, thank you, all the above. I'm glad you stopped by. This is from an old photograph of my dog. There's a lot of detail in this. And I haven't worked on this in about a year. And all of my regular paints, the ones that are in my Stay Wet palette, they have cured into something I can't use. So I think I'm going to have to get creative on a couple of these things. Her name is Freddie, and usually I have her on a dog cam, but unfortunately that means that I have to leave my door open, and I am just not up for that today. Instead, I'm going to use my Monday music stream and keep that open. Just going to get some of that new color in there. Nothing too radical. I think the toughest part of all of this is that it's been so long. I really wanted to finish this in like just a couple of sittings, but then I discovered another streamer who had been working on this acrylic painting of Jack and Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. And he said he'd been working on it for a really long time. You know, life gets in the way sometimes. Now, for those of you on Twitch that can't see what all the above is saying to me, I have not figured out how to include YouTube discussions on my board, on my screen. I know there's like 2 or 3 ways to do it, but I haven't figured it out yet. No, Beach Doggy, it is purely my inexperience. But it'll come back. Shouldn't take too much time before all the YouTube guys that love to talk about this space get their stuff together and I used to think I was pretty good at doing searches for things I needed. Nope. No, I do not. Like, for instance, I have been trying to figure out how to create, I want to say waveform. You know, like the output from SETI. You know, it's kind of 3D and it creates a shape of all of the signal that comes back. You can do that with audio too, but thing is, waveforms for audio, they don't look like that. So I have to find another search term, or I need to go back to my design client and say, look, okay, 1, this looks really cool, but 2, this is not a sound thing, but it looks really cool. Yes, it does. If you want to keep doing it, I will definitely make that happen for you. But it's going to take a lot of trial and error. Let's put more of this goo. Oh, jeez. This paintbrush, it tastes terrible. Ooh. So, Beach Doggy, over on Twitch, I wanted to let you know that in my socials, there has been a call for musicians to do the summer festivals in Issaquah. Issaquah, Washington, for those of you who are not familiar with my home state of Washington in the Pacific Northwest, Issaquah is just this side of the Cascades. Some beautiful, beautiful area. They have a main street that they hold lots of wine walks and food festivals, things like that. And I'm actually thinking about doing it this year. It would be a return to some old music stomping grounds. The thing is, do I want to do it with just me, an accompanist, or do I want to try and get the whole band back into it again? I think they'd do it. course, I'd want to write a few more songs, because when you've been with a band for 15 years, and then you hit kind of a roadblock creatively, you get really tired of your own songs. And I am not a big fan of playing covers. It's not something I enjoy doing. But, you know, people like covers. They like dancing to things that they're familiar with. So for some of these festivals, I've bitten the bullet and just kind of went, okay, fine, we'll do some covers. And since then, I've learned a lot more cover songs. So I'm thinking about doing it. I know I have some friends who would accompany me. Because even though I'm a decent guitar player for myself, if I'm going out in public, I want to be able to showcase my voice in a way that, I don't know, preserves my reputation. Oh, that Wynn, she's a great singer, but man, she needs to work on her guitar. You're right, friend, I totally do. So maybe I'll go back and do a show at Issaquah. I know that they are familiar with my work. And while I didn't do any New Year's resolutions for this year, I felt like it was just too much to think about. I do want to do more performing in the new year. I don't know if you'd call that a resolution, because I don't want a resolution. I just want to do some creative stuff. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, these squares over here are much bigger. But you know what? I don't think I care. I don't think I care that it's out of proportion. I'm just following the pencil lines I put in it, y'all. And if it looks quilted, oh, well, that's good. I guess the whole point is I need to make sure that it looks lighter on this side over here than it does over here. And if there's one thing I need to make peace with, and you know, art is relative. Like, I don't know a lot of people who find expressionist, abstract art very interesting. It's the kind of art that a lot of people say, oh, my kid could do that. Okay, that's great. It's a little rude and insulting, but for a lot of us, I know a lot of people will say, I can't do art if it's not good. I'm not very good at art. Well, you know what? Make ridiculous art. Make ridiculous, terrible art. Enjoy the terrible art. Because it's fun. And if you mess it up, big whoop. Oh, crap. Okay, I messed up something, but I didn't mess up what I thought I was going to mess up. All right, good job, Win. Good job. I meant to do that. Little too much black. All right, we got, for our Twitch people, we're coming into an ad here, so hold tight. 2.5 minutes on my Twitch folks. I'll still be here. Get yourself some water, get up and stretch. Grab an extra blanket. Because you know that's what you want to do. I can't believe I did that. Hey, Win, you need things to be a little more muted. Let's just grab a big fat glop of Mars black. Big fat gob. Alright. This paintbrush still tastes terrible. Welcome back, Twitch. I'm so focused. I feel like I should be talking, but then I just get my head down. I just realized my microphone was blocking everything. Whoops. Sorry about that. This is what I mean by super focused. Whoa. I like how I've been able to fill this all out. And if you look, there's a lot of light on this side, which is, I think I captured okay over here. And then a little bit darker, but not this dark. It's a big contrast. So I'm just kind of going over in my head, what should it look like? What do I need to do to... Is there something there that I need to explore? Maybe? All right, I got some on the back of my canvas. At least it wasn't on the front in a weird place. I wanted you to be able to see this whole area here. I'd like to make the crease a little darker but you know, in the original, it's the shapes that make everything look a little different. I need some lighter color in this. just occurred to me. I was supposed to cook tonight. Whoops. I really don't like cooking. I could live off of peanut butter and crackers for a very long time. Mm. I just want it to be dark without being black. Come on. And I screwed the pooch on that one. Great. All right. Let's see if we can salvage this. Oh, what have I done? Oh, never gonna get this color back. This paint is picking up the dried chunky paint underneath. And I am displeased. I am greatly annoyed with how I can't get to this color. And it seems like the more I mix, the worse it gets. Nope. Still not the right color. Let's see what I can do about this palette. I'm going to have to scrape most of this up. Okay. That's a hot mess. Let's see if I have a blade for this. Don't try this at home, kids. The blade is very, very sharp. Okay. I wanted to be able to start over. I don't have another palette I want to pull out. And this was my best bet. All right, second time. kind of mesmerizing, isn't it? Just watch this all go. What am I missing? Okay, we're really close. Really close. All right, looks like our Twitch viewers are going to get into the ad zone. If you haven't followed already or on YouTube subscribed, I'd appreciate the numbers. And you get a little notification. I try to keep them short and sweet. I'm going to back up the camera a little bit. I started to nod off a little bit there. Got to be careful. Last thing I want is a big stripe of random paint in the middle of a very careful design. keep looking at this and going, oh, I missed a spot. We all know I haven't. Thank you. Thank you, Beach Doggy. I keep forgetting how much time some of these things take to really develop on the canvas. And of course, I have paint all over me. This was intentional. So, It's important to stretch, okay? So if you haven't stretched yet, I want you to put your arms in the air and just reach for it. Make a big noise. I'm not going to make a big noise because if I do, the dog will start barking and everyone in the rest of the house is going to get confused. Like they do. Okay. I'd turn this over, rotate it. But the problem with that is that I'd have to reach really high to get to that. Maybe I should just turn it sideways. That's a little better, just a little. All of my paint towels are on the floor. And I have often said it's not a wind sea blue stream unless something falls on the floor. Usually something important. In this case, bar towels. not the color I was looking for. This is not what I wanted. Thank you so much, Beach Doggy. I try to be informative. I try to be inspiring, and I try to encourage other people to try being creative, whether it's doing this, drawing little stick figures, or folding paper. Whatever it takes, getting that creative energy out sometimes is like a meditation, you know? And at this point in time, I think we could all use a little mental timeout. You know, put down your phone, turn off the TV. This little lo-fi station I've got on is really nice background music. I listen to a lot of podcasts, which is a mixed blessing. But I'm finding if I find a radio station, maybe like on satellite radio, that just kind of, maybe not yacht rock. Yacht rock isn't for everybody. You won't find me listening to a yacht rock station. Unless I'm on a yacht. Which is unlikely in this day and age. Really appreciate the drawing motivation. Haven't drawn for a long time. Well, I'm going to encourage everyone who can hear me right now to keep an eye on, your local craft store, or even you can get sketchbooks at Fred Meyer if you wanted. Your local big box store is going to have something. I tend to shop at Michael's because, they have these crazy sales once in a while. Like, buy one canvas, get two free. What? But getting either a drawing or a mixed media sketchbook. I like the little ones. Just about the size of my face. Because with the little ones, I don't feel so bad if I don't use a whole page. You don't need any fancy pencils. A number 2 pencil, mechanical pencil, a pencil you stole from work. All the materials that I have collected over the years, and some of my art supplies are decades old. And it's amazing that some of them still work. And I've been thinking that I've been thinking that maybe I could add an art stream, one where it's kind of like a draw along. A lot of artists on that stream, particularly on Twitch, they have like a Discord server or something. I could never get the hang of Discord. I mean, I can participate, but setting up a Discord server, a little different. But they'll put up prompts and people will draw along and they'll post their artwork, take a little picture with their phones. I thought it might be nice to do that at some point. I think the important thing, and every single artist you ask this will tell you the same thing. How do you get good at doing art? How do you get started? Well, for one, to get good at it, you have to do it all the time. You have to just keep doing it. In order to get started, you just have to do it. Do it on a napkin. Do it on a Post-it note. There are artists out there that draw exclusively on Post-it notes. And I think that's wonderful. Because Lord knows I have done my share of Post-it note doodles. Work in corporate America long enough, and it's the only way you'll get through a meeting. All right, turning it back around. For a second, I thought my husband was. Oh, there he is. Okay. What is it, hon? No? All right, I'm not dead. You can close the fucking door. Pardon my French. He does not like to close the door. Now my door is open. Wonderful. I'm not going to get too irritated at him because he's probably thinking of the little dog at my door who has been waiting for a couple of hours for me to come out and let her in the backyard because she is picky and won't let anyone but me do that. If you can see the little picture over there, my little friend Fred. Ta-da, there's Fred. Right now she is sitting on the floor in a little dog bed, probably snoring or looking sad. And it doesn't matter what the boys want to do. Fred, do you want to go outside? Fred, do you want to go for a walk? Fred, do you want a treat? Yes, please. She trusts me too much to the point where she doesn't trust anyone else. Today we were walking and there were 2 new dogs on the walk that she didn't recognize. Nearly yanked my arm off trying to cross the street. She's just such a weird little dog, you know? She's just so weird. But I love her. And she turns 10 this month. 10 whole years old. And I'm allergic to her, which is great. 10 whole years, yeah. Now, the last time I had a dog, I might have been 12 or 13. He was a dachshund, and his name was Mr. Bojangles. And Freddie is a little chihuahua. And I hadn't had a dog in a really long time. But, you know, in my area, people don't have as many kids as they do dogs. And, you know, I don't have any kids. So why not get a dog? I got a big yard, right? Big yard, why not use it for a happy little dog? And she loves going outside, especially if there are rabbits out there. Man, if there's a rabbit. And we like watching the rabbits in the springtime because they just, you know, hang out in the yard and eat the weeds. Not really hurting anybody, not multiplying too much. And then comes the dog. You can imagine how much fun these last few years have been. Lurking, thank you for the lurk. Thank you for the lurk, beach doggy. One thing a lot of people say to me about my streams is that when it stops and there's no more sound, or like if you're on Twitch, if I redirect to another stream, it's either the silence or the new streamer that wakes them up. I think I got paint on my face. You know what? I'm really glad that I brought this out. It's been sitting on an easel for months, waiting for me to get back to it. And I think I'm going to work on this off stream as well. Oop. Okay, that didn't want to do that. But there's a lot to cover, and I am pretty excited about getting this part right here done. Gosh, look at all those colors of paint. So let me check something right here. Okay, so I've got a couple of things that I want to do here. So, I am out of clean water. And I'm covered in paint. Well, not exactly covered, but I'm running out of usable hand stuff here. And I want to make sure that because they always tell me I need to raid, and I don't want to raid. And with only one person watching, I don't want to raid anyway. So, but that's okay, because I think I had pretty good company while I was here. And I'm gonna do a little thing right now where I snooze my ads. Keep the raiders from happening. So let's go back to my main camera. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I wonder if my progress thing is working. Hang on. No, it is not. I need to fix that. Okay, anyway. Thank you for hanging out with me. My name is Win C. Blue. I'm a musician and an artist based out of Seattle, Washington. Unless you're a purist, then I'm from Bothell. I know that's really loud, isn't it? So, I'm on my way out. I'm really glad you stopped by. Please catch the VOD. Drop me a follow. I'm also on YouTube. Drop me a subscribe there. It doesn't cost anything. And we're going to call it a night. I will see you on Monday for music. Okay? Bring your requests. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Let somebody be good to you. I love you and I want you to be happy. So what we're going to do is we're going to sign off. Good night, Twitch. Good night, YouTube. Be good. I love you.